All right, today we're jumping into a book that's, well, it's a real game changer for a lot of people. The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. This is all about taking a journey, an inner journey, to find out who you really are. Beyond that nonstop chatter that's always going on in your head.
So Singer kicks things off with a question that it hits you right between the eyes. And it's this: who is that voice inside your head that never stops talking? I mean, think about it. It's there right now, isn't it? It's narrating everything. It's judging. It's worrying. It's planning. But have you ever, really stopped and asked yourself, who is that voice?
And there it is. I love this part. Because the moment you even think about it, you might hear a little something like, voice? What voice? I don't have a voice in my head. Yep, that's the one we're talking about. The one that just denied it exists. It's a perfect paradox, and it's exactly where we need to start. Okay, so to really get a handle on this voice, Singer gives us this amazing metaphor. He says, look, stop thinking that voice is you. Instead, he wants you to imagine it as, well, as a separate person. Let's meet your inner roommate.
Let's really build this idea out together. First step, just imagine that voice had a body. I mean, take all that mental chatter, the constant worrying, all the opinions, and just poof, give it a physical form. Picture a person.
Okay, you got that person in your mind's eye? Now imagine that person lives with you. In your house. They are with you 24/7. From the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep. You literally can't get away from them. And what's this roommate doing all day? Well, they're sitting right there on your couch, and they're critiquing everything. Every single thing. Ugh, are you really wearing that? You should have said something different in that meeting. Why'd you do that? That was so dumb. It's just this constant stream of neurotic commentary.
So let's look at this roommate's resume, shall we? I mean, what are they actually like? Well, for starters, they never shut up. They argue with themselves constantly. Go for it. No, wait, don't do it. They're totally overreactive. They change their mind every 5 seconds. And honestly, they give the worst advice, usually based on fear. They have a real talent for ruining perfectly good moments. Now, if this were a real person living with you, you'd have kicked them out ages ago, right? So why do we let this voice run our entire lives?
Okay, this is where everything starts to shift. Because once you can see that roommate for what it is, just a neurotic voice, you're finally ready to meet the real you. And this is what Singer calls the lucid self.
And this right here, is the question that unlocks the whole thing. Just let this sink in for a second. If you can hear the voice, then who is doing the hearing? I mean, really think about that. There's the voice talking, and then there's something else. There's the one who is aware of the voice. You can't be both, right? So if you're not the voice, who are you?
You're the witness. You're the awareness. You are that quiet center of consciousness that's just watching it all. It's watching the thoughts, feeling the emotions, seeing the world go by. That's the real you. You are not the voice. You're the one who hears the voice. It's this deep, silent, steady part of you that's been there your whole life, just quietly observing the whole show.
So this really boils down to two completely different ways to live your life. On one hand, you can be lost. This is when you're totally caught up in the drama, believing you are your thoughts and emotions. You're just swept away by the whole inner show. Or you can be lucid. This is when you're sitting in that seat of consciousness, simply being the awareness that observes the thoughts and emotions. You realize you are separate from the experience, not lost inside of it. It's a massive shift.
Now, making this shift from being lost to being lucid, it has this huge, profound effect on our inner state, and it has everything to do with our energy. See, Singer says that every single one of us has this incredible wellspring of infinite energy inside. You can call it whatever you want. Chi, Shakti, spirit, it doesn't matter. It's that fundamental life force that animates everything.
And you totally know this feeling. Think about when you're inspired by a new project or when you're falling in love. You feel like you're buzzing, right? Like you could go for days without sleep. But then when you're feeling down or scared, you feel completely drained, just empty. So what gives? It's not like the energy just disappears. So why don't we feel it?
The answer, according to Singer, is pretty simple. We block it. That's it. When something happens that we don't like, our automatic reaction is to close down. We close our hearts, we close our minds, we contract inwardly. And that act of closing is like kinking a hose. It cuts us off from that natural flow of energy.
Okay, so the big question is, why do we close up so often? What's making us do that?
Well, this leads us to another one of Singer's really powerful metaphors, the idea of the inner thorn.
So here's the idea. Anytime you have a painful experience that you don't fully process and let go of, it gets stored inside you. It's like a pocket of blocked energy. He compares it to having a thorn stuck deep in your arm. You might build up this tough protective layer around it so you don't have to feel it all the time, but it's still there. And then, life just happens to bump into that exact spot, and bam! The pain flares up just as sharp as it was in the beginning. And this brings us to a fundamental choice we all have to make. On the one hand, we can choose to protect the thorn. This means you literally rearrange your entire life just to avoid touching that sore spot. You avoid certain people, you avoid certain places, your whole world shrinks. The other option? You choose to remove the thorn. And yeah, that means you have to be willing to feel that pain for a little while as you pull it out. But once it's out, you get lasting freedom. The choice is, build your life around your pain, or face it and be free.
It really comes down to this. If you're doing something just to avoid feeling pain, then guess what? Pain is running your life. It's that simple. Your inner thorns are the ones in the driver's seat. Real freedom isn't about building stronger and stronger walls around your pain. It's about realizing you don't need the walls at all.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we stop protecting these thorns and start pulling them out? Well, the book gives us a very clear plan. It's a path of non-resistance.
The whole foundation for this is an ancient concept called the Tao, which just means the way. Think of it as the middle path. Most of us live like a pendulum, swinging from one extreme to another. We're either desperately clinging to things we like or aggressively pushing away things we don't. The way is about letting that pendulum come to a natural rest, right in the center, and just allowing life to be what it is.
So here is your game plan. It's a 4-step process. Step 1, just notice the disturbance. That's it. Become aware the moment you feel triggered, the moment you feel that urge to close up. Step 2, relax and release. Instead of tightening up and fighting it, consciously do the opposite. Relax your body, take a breath, and just let go of the resistance. Step 3, let it pass through you. This is key. Don't dive into the mental story about why you're hurting. Just feel the raw energy of the emotion itself and allow it to move through you and out of you. And finally, step 4, return to the witness. By doing this, you naturally come back to that centered place, your lucid self, the one who's just aware. That, right there, is the entire practice.
Ultimately, when you stop fighting with yourself, when you stop trying to manage and control every little thing, you tap into a kind of peace and strength that was there all along. The journey beyond that small, scared self we think we are, it really is a journey of just letting go.
And so that leaves us with one last really big question to sit with. You know, we live in a world that's constantly telling us to strive, to achieve, to hold on tighter. But what if all the freedom, all the joy, all the real connection we're looking for comes from doing the exact opposite? What if the only thing truly worth doing was just letting go?